Hey guys, if you're shopping for knives and gear, make sure you check out the description of the video you're watching right now for a link to my Amazon store where I've compiled some of the very best items available, including some of my own personal recommendations. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Middle Complex here, and today I'm going to be talking about the top 10 best knives, in my opinion, that are under $300. And what do I mean by that? Actually, what I've decided to do is here every weekend, I'm going to be doing a different top 10 by certain price range. So, under $300 in this case means between $250 and $300 as of the time of this upload. So check the date on the upload if you're watching it way in the future. Obviously, prices may have changed, but as of right now, these are my top 10 favorite. Now, knives on this list, number one, all of them are knives that I have at least handled. 9 out of the 10 are knives that actually have reviews on this channel, physical reviews of me handling the knives, so you can actually go check those out. If you don't like these screen recorded episodes, that's perfectly fine. Also, I will be including links down in the description where you can check these out for yourself. I'm a Blade HQ affiliate. What that means is that if you use the links for any of these knives down in the description, I do benefit from that. So full disclosure there. All right, so anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the list. Remember, this is my list, so it's just my opinion. First off, the ZT0393, in this case, the GLCF, and that's because that's the only one left. I love the 0393. Truthfully, I think this version of it is just that they're charging us a little bit much just for some glow-in-the-dark carbon fiber. It's cool, but it's basically meaningless. The knife makes up for it for being, in my opinion, one of ZT's best knives ever. This absolutely falls between the $250 and $300 mark. I forget the actual prices for a lot of these knives, but like I said, if you want to check them out, just go to the links down in the description. They're all going to be in order. Very convenient. This knife is based off the Rick Hinderer, the actual Hinderer Eclipse, but it has the Harpoon Spanto style blade. It's got the titanium, I mean, you can call it a liner lock, you can call it a subframe lock, whatever you want, and then it has these kind of awkward hourglass overlays. This knife is incredible, and this knife is probably eventually going to be discontinued. I would guess sooner rather than later. So if you haven't picked one of these up, it's still, in my opinion, this is still one of the best knives out there between $250 and $300 right now. Moving on here, the Bestech Bowie tie. Oh my goodness, this came out of left field for me. I did not expect this thing to be so awesome. It is big, guys. This is a big knife. I believe these are M390. Awesome. Really big Bowie style blade. If you like Bowies, you know, but you like to carry folding knives, well, you can have both in the same knife here. This has a contoured titanium bolster, and then some of them have, excuse me, shred carbon fiber, and there's a bunch of different versions of them, right? But man, incredible flipping action. I'm a big fan of Bestech and their manufacturing quality. Honestly, you're getting a lot here. It is manufactured in China, but you're getting a lot here for between $250 and $300. This is just an exceptional knife, and it's a frame lock. I mean, oh my goodness. If you like the big, you know, kind of aggressive, crazy-looking knives, but it has all the little, you know, dressy features that we expect from the modern knife world, this is a wonderful knife. Moving on here, of course, for fans of automatic knives and people who can carry or at least own automatic knives, the Guardian Tactical Recon 35. This might be, alongside another one on this list, one of, if not the very best OTFs on the market, out the front automatic knives on the market. You've got the switch that rides on the steel plate, and it's got the bearings underneath, so it's easily the smoothest operating OTF that I've ever handled. On top of that, they use LMAX now, I think. I don't know if they've moved. They used to use S35VN and or LMAX. I don't know if they've actually moved up. Well, I say up, right? If they've moved sideways to M390 and 204P like Microtech did, I don't know. These are they're like 7.85 inches overall with like a 3.4 inch blade. Perfect EDC size. Very dependable, very similar build to Microtech's. It's kind of like the size of the Lightning OTF, except it actually feels like it's quality because it is. They're made in the USA. Awesome knives. I've owned it. I've reviewed it. Great knife. Moving on here, the Knives Malice. Oh my gosh. This is essentially, to me, this is a titanium frame lock version of the Shaman, but it's got more meat. It's like if you fed the Shaman steroids, right, and then put a titanium shell on it. That's kind of what this is. That big long groove in there with the holes, you know, that's going to be aesthetically more or less pleasing to some people. But what it allows you to do is still, you know, manipulate it with the reverse flick, but you've also got the option to use the flipper tab, and then they keep that forward choil. The scales, as you can see there, are also contoured, and this comes in a few different, I think it comes in a standard titanium like this, and then it's got like the flame titanium. This is a wonderful knife. Much more beastly than I thought, but in a good way. This knife feels very capable. Love it. Moving on here, of course, the Microtech Ultratech. Before I handled the Guardian Tactical Recon 35, you know, there was, in my opinion, there was no competition for the best OTF on the market, the Microtech Ultratech. These are a lot bigger than people think. If you've never handled one, and it was a lot bigger than I thought. Like, I read the stats, right? And like, okay, 8.5 inches overall, 3.6 inch blade, right? But I look at it, it looks like this long, skinny thing. It's actually a pretty big knife, but in a good way. It feels capable, it feels durable. At the same time, you know, as you can see there, when it's retracted, it's basically just kind of a rectangle, right? It's not the thinnest object in the world, but it's mega lightweight. And like I said, Microtech has moved on to 204P in most of their blade steels. So you get Microtech's typical fit and finish. I mean, it's just ultra quality. You can get Tanto, you can drop point, you can get, you know, dagger ground blade, you can get the Spartan blade. They have a million different blades, a million different blade finishes. They've got a million different colors. I mean, if you can think up a style of Ultratech in your head, I'm pretty certain they've got it. This is an amazing knife at under $300. Base price, by the way. All of these base price applied to this, under $300. Moving on here, the Ace Sonoma. This is the Vox Onso Ace Sonoma. Giant mouse, I'm sorry. God, brain fart there. So the first time I saw this knife, I was like, oh my gosh, I am incredibly attracted to the simplicity of it. I love the presentation side. I love the back side. The pocket clip was a little bit awkward to me, but I just really like these simple, classy, yet very capable knives that are kind of in between the medium and large size, right? Folded up, I mean, it's very compact and easy to carry, but you've got a lot of cutting edges, a little bit of a forward choil there. Of course, premium materials. This is just an excellent knife. I mean, it's very plain, it's very simple, but some people kind of like a minimalist aesthetic, right? As long as they are getting, you know, the tolerances, they're getting the premium fit and finish. And, you know, as I said on the physical review of this knife, which you can go back and watch, it's excellent. This is an excellent knife all the way around. I was very, very impressed with it. I think it absolutely deserves a spot on this list. Moving on here, this is a random one. You guys probably weren't expecting me to throw this one in here. The Protec TR41. This is a knife that I have not reviewed on the channel, but I have handled for myself before. This is a super awesome automatic knife. If you've never experienced Protec, I urge you to, and you like side opening automatic knives, because that's primarily what they make, then I urge you to try one. And, you know, this is one of their more expensive, like, standard production knives. But oh my gosh, is this thing capable. Now, let me point this out here. Those of you who have this blown up on a 65-inch TV, right, you might be able to see the blade steel there. It says CPM D2. Oh no, CPM D2. Or most of you are thinking D2 for between $250 and $300. Oh my gosh, you can get D2 on a budget knife. Not the same D2. Ingot form D2 that we see in the budget world and CPM D2 are completely, I mean, they're the same composition, but the CPM process, right, allows D2 to massively benefit in terms of evenly distributed carbide formation, which has to do with edge retention. Basically, this CPM form D2 is just as stain resistant as standard D2, which is just slightly less than an actual stainless steel. 12%, right, on D2 and 14% to be chromium. It's got plenty of corrosion resistance. Just make sure you know, take care of it and stuff. But it is much tougher as a result of the CPM process and much more, or it has much more edge retention. I keep saying edge retentive. That's not actually a word. It has much more edge retention. Absolutely. Protec has never had an issue with heat treat, so I trust that they do it properly. Basically, CPM D2 is one of the ultimate user steels. Absolutely. Protec is known the world over as being super tough for an automatic knife. This thing has an enormous amount of handle room. This is a big blade. I think that these are close to, if not right at, or maybe a little over 9 inches overall, but you have all that handle room. You've got the choke up position on that choil behind the blade. Protec knives are usually ground pretty thin. I mean, this thing is ready to go. For a lot of different reasons, it is ready to go. And I, for one, find it very aesthetically pleasing. It also fires ridiculously hard. Protec knives have really powerful springs, and there's a lot of blade, like, firing out of the thing. So there's a lot of recoil. watch a video online of somebody using their TR41, and you know, it's one of those things that I fell in love with it immediately, right when I handled it. So anyways, moving on here. The Ferrum Forge Exec. I was able to handle this knife here recently. You guys don't have a review of it yet, but I've actually got it in my possession right now. You can watch my unboxing from Nick Shabazz. He sent along a bunch of knives for me to just take a look at, and one of them was the Ferrum Forge Exec. Oh my gosh, talk about like kind of like suit and tie kind of business tactical. That's what this knife makes me think of. Now, obviously, you've got different anno patterns. The blue doesn't really do it for me. I know it will for some other people, right? But I like the just plain stonewashed gray, and you've got that nice sterile blade and that nice carbon fiber inlay. This is a fairly large knife, despite it having a really excellent carry profile. You could imagine this thing folded up is, like, once again, just a big, long rectangle. Ferrum Forge knows how to make an ergonomic knife and at the same time make something that is very aesthetically pleasing, and this is yet another example of it. There is not a lot available for Ferrum Forge on the Blade HQ website right now, and you guys know with Ferrum Forge, they're like, here's a model, it's going to be here for a little bit, and it's gone. So if you want one of these, pick them up. Moving on, this is the Knives Deacon. This knife I feel like is extremely underrated. If you like kind of what I was saying about the Sonoma, about the Exec, right, but you're thinking, this might be a little bit big. The Deacon it still has that kind of classy, kind of minimalist look to it, right? Very thin behind the edge, it's actually got I think the blades are like vapor blasted. I used to call it an overcast finish or a cloudy day finish. I think these are vapor blasted, which is an awesome, awesome finish on these knives. Contoured titanium bolsters, contoured carbon fiber, anodized hardware. They've got a bunch of different versions of them. This knife, I think, comes in at something like 7.5 inches overall, so it's a medium-sized knife, but the carry profile is excellent. It's a little smaller, right? In some ways, the Sonoma, I think, is, well, this blade, I think, is a little taller than the Sonoma blade, but it's actually a little bit shorter overall. Like, the overall knife is a little bit shorter, and I think it probably weighs less with the carbon fiber on there. So this is a nice, really classy, gentleman-style tactical flipper that carries really easily, and this is a wonderful EDC option, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a big knife to justify the excess money on it, right? I mean, if you just want to carry something ultra nice, but have it work with your, everyday scenario, right? If you're just cutting open little things and you just enjoy the fine details in your knife, oh my gosh, the Deacon is amazing and really under the radar, I feel like, for a lot of people. Or at least that's the way I look at it. All right, moving on here, I think we might be coming to the last one. Of course, the ZT0562CF, a legendary model that has been a legendary model for a very long time. Of course, this makes the list. It is essentially ZT's Hinderer XM18. Excellent blade. This is a bigger knife, heavy-duty, sort of tactical titanium frame lock, carbon fiber on one side, titanium on the other, right? This knife comes in at about 260-ish. They've got 204-piece steel. Now, I'm also going to lump in the 0562 Ti, which I honestly think is that's the way to go. It's a little bit heavier than the CF, right? If you like the carbon fiber version, go with the carbon fiber version. But for 25 bucks more, you can get a full titanium ZT0562, which, truthfully, guys, I think this knife is far and away the best, most capable. I mean, this is the best bang for your buck still, right? I know the titanium version only came out in the last couple of years, but this is still the best bang for your buck under $300. Yes, I'm a Hinderer fan. Yes, I might be a little bit biased because I've owned this knife 3 times and I've owned 27 individual Hinderer knives because I'm a crazy person. But seriously, if you've never experienced this knife, oh my goodness. And it's made in the United States, right? I got a bunch of knives on the list that are US made, and I got a bunch of knives on the list that are not US made because I know that people have different feelings on that stuff. What are my feelings on it? You're never going to know. I enjoy knives because they're knives, right? So that's the way that it is on this channel. I'm going to show you guys the stuff that I think is interesting, and then you guys get to make that decision for yourselves. But I think the the 0562 Ti is truthfully the very best bang for your buck under $300. Guys, that's going to be pretty much it for my top 10 best knives under $300 that you can buy right now. Remember, next week we'll be going down to $250, so I'll be giving you a new list of 10 between $200 and $250. I hope this was interesting to you. If you guys enjoyed this, right, if it's something you'd like to see me do more often, I love doing this screen recorded stuff. This is fun for me, and I hope it's beneficial to you guys. So let me know down in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.